So, hello, my name's Suzannah Young. I'm a policy officer at the National Housing Federation. I'm really pleased to be here with Ria Armstrong from Teign Housing. Ria is Neighbourhood Services Advisor and Traveller Site Manager at Teign, and she's going to be talking to us about how social housing can play a role in settled futures for Gypsy and Traveller communities. So hi Ria, and thanks for joining us. I wonder if you can just first of all tell us a bit more about your role at Teign Housing.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Ria Armstrong, as you said. I'm the Traveller Site Manager for Holden Ridge. Holden Ridge was based in just on the outskirts of Exeter in southwest of England. And I basically run a traveller site that has 18 pitches on the site. It used to be an unauthorised encampment until Teign District Council got involved with the planning department, and then they made it an authorised pitch for Gypsy and Travellers. The traveller sites that the travellers that we've got there are new age travellers, so they are all of the same community, and a lot of them have been there since 2014 when it basically first opened and when the investment was given by the council. And then that's when Teign Housing got involved in order to be able to take over the day-to-day management of the site.
Great. Can you tell us a bit more about the support that you give to the travellers and the work that you do on the site?
Yeah, as a traveller site manager at Holden Ridge, I'm responsible for basically the allocations of the pitches, the day-to-day management, so any assistance required with housing benefits, any enforcement, any problems with doctors, any problems. It's very much an all-round, so with any benefit entitlements, so PIP claims, ESA, DLA, universal credit, it's all encompassed into the same sort of thing as the traveller site manager, basically being responsible for them and actually assisting them in their day-to-day living on the site.
And do you help them with their contacts with the housing part of the local council, or is that all within Teign Housing?
It's all pretty much in-house within Teign Housing. We have a very multi-agency approach in terms of getting everybody to engage with each other. So we sit on various Gypsy and Traveller forums, also community groups, Holden Action Group, residents panels that we've got that basically ensure that we're actually, the residents, they have a voice and they have a say. So anything that they may be troubles, any problems that they may be having within the site, we've got a multi-agency approach to actually engage with them, to work with them, to actually help them live a secure and safe future on their site.
And what are the main challenges that Gypsy and Traveller communities face around their housing?
I think it's obviously, it goes back to discrimination against Gypsy and Travellers. There's been historical lots of discrimination about the actual groups and as to how they engage with the community. That has knock-on effects with regards to planning applications for further sites, a lot of negativity towards them, not in my backyard kind of approach from the local landowners and the local people that live in the community. But after obviously being there for, they've settled quite well now, they've kind of built up that links. So with regards to Holden Traveller site, we're very lucky in the fact that they actually have been accepted into the community as well now. That gives us a lead on to the future in the fact that Teign District Council are also looking to do further sites, and we can actually use this Holden site as a flagship as to how it works and how it actually is successful, providing them with the accommodation that they need to be able to have a safe and secure future.
It seems like Teign Council has been very involved kind of in the evolution of the sites and has taken an active role. Was it the council's idea to get involved with the the Traveller sites and to work with Teign Housing? How was it set up?
I think they ultimately knew something needed to be done about the encampment that was there, the unauthorised encampment. It was very dangerous for them to remain living the way that they were actually living. So I think in terms of safety and health and safety for the travellers to be living on unauthorised sites, there was obviously lots of risks attached to that. So it was a brilliant initiative that Teignbridge District Council have really gone to town with it, and hopefully other councils will actually take this on board and actually sort of learn from this as well. So Teignbridge District Council, they were actively involved with when it was obviously newly developed. After the actual plots had been developed and built, that's when Teign Housing got involved when taking over the day-to-day management. So dealing with the voids works, because they all have amenity blocks. So we've got to make sure that they're actually compliant and also safe for them. We then also, in terms of managing the waiting list, so in order to be able to allocate the pitches fairly, and then also the day-to-day management and running of the site from there.
And so what can other housing associations potentially learn from Teign Housing, from the approach that they've taken, and kind of what's the advantage of having a housing association on board?
I think there's been challenges along the way, don't get us wrong, that so basically we weren't expecting to suddenly sort of take over the management of the site and everything runs smoothly. It does require a certain amount more intensively managed than general needs properties and general needs housing. So in terms of resources wise, a neighbourhood services advisor, which is myself, that could on a general needs social housing patch covers 600 properties. Traveller site manager maybe only take the capacity of 2 or 3 pitches, 2 or 3 sites. So there is a drain on resources, and that's why investment is so necessary to be able to actually give that secured future for the Gypsy and Traveller community. Because ultimately they do want to be living on site. They don't want to be, as far as my knowledge is concerned, they actually want to be in part of their community. So if you actually then, some of them may want to go into bricks and mortar properties, but from my experience, they want to stay together as a community. But then we've got the challenge, the fact that the families, when they arrived, they may have had 1 or 2 children. Now they may have 5 or 6 children, and the pitch sizes is very, very important to make sure that the pitch sizes are correct, and actually then they can actually be safe in their pitches. I think it's all very well and good to say just plough more money and invest more money into it, but the actual reality of it is that it needs to be actually focused in a way that is going to be usable to be able to make sure that they're actually living comfortably. And by things like investing into community gardens and solar panels and community projects to be able to actually ingratiate everybody into the community, that's really important. With Holden Ridge, the community garden that we've got set up, it's actually people that are non-residents are also getting involved, so the people that are living in the surrounding area. So that's been a big bonus to be able to bring all parts, or anybody that wants to get involved. We do a yoga session on a Tuesday and Thursday morning, and there's lots of people. I enjoy going to that myself, but it's basically just to be able to get everybody. So in terms of investment wise, if there's investment that could be put into those sorts of projects, at the end of the day, everybody will benefit from that. Not just the Gypsy and Travellers, there's other people that will actually benefit from it as well.
Thank you. What would you say a settled future means for the Gypsy and Traveller community? And that's what we're focusing on this week. And so what does that mean?
I think that would be absolutely wonderful if they could actually feel that they're actually being listened to, their voice is valid, they do have an opinion, they do have the ways that they wish to live, and they shouldn't be challenged to have to live any other way than the way that they want to live. and that the way they've actually been brought up to live as well.
And speaking of making people's voices heard, can you tell us a bit about your work on the National Gypsy and Traveller Advisory Panel?
Gypsy and Travellers effectively are homeless, so we've been working on a project with that. Also basically making sure that those, as I said, with regards to the blocks that are being created and the barriers, breaking down those barriers. And that's being done from a policy and procedure level with regards to the Gypsy and Traveller Forum and the advisory panel. So I'm quite honoured to be part of it and actually contribute it. Obviously mine's on a very low level with regards to the day-to-day management of it, but it's very interesting to hear the plans and procedures for going forward for the future and how the investment's potentially going to be spent and how it needs to be actually focused on where it needs to be focused. And that's where I want to play a big role within that advisory panel.
Brilliant, thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about before we finish?
I think it's just that basically making sure that we are considering going forward for the future the loopholes that may have for the local councils, which is the planning departments. That is something that really needs to be looked at and really addressed, because that's ultimately what we would love to have, is be able to house as many Gypsy and Travellers as possible throughout the whole country. But I think it does start with the planning department and basically education, to be able to educate the local communities to be able to actually bring on the safe and settled future for the Gypsy and Traveller site.
Thank you very much, and thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you very much. Okay.